It is on the rise in South Africa at the moment. It is a lifestyle disease, first and foremost. And unfortunately, as South Africans, we tend to start living more of a westernized lifestyle as well, especially in the urban areas, consuming fast foods, not exercising regularly. All those factors contribute to the development of metabolic diseases such as diabetes, and it is becoming a problem, not just among older people anymore, but also among the working class individuals. That compounds the problem.
You've produced new data, Doctor, on the molecular events behind insulin resistance that may open alternative possibilities for treating diabetes. Walk us through that.
What we've tried to do is look at the basic cellular and molecular levels at new, previously unknown metabolic alterations, mainly due to high blood sugar, as this is one of the main features of diabetes, and blood sugar levels are already on the rise before individuals become diabetic, and as well as a result of the consumption of sugar-rich food and beverages as well. We try to determine what molecular events underlie high sugar levels. So we sort of mimic increased sugar levels in a cell culture model using heart cells. And here we found that a number of reactive molecules are upregulated when we expose the cells to high sugar levels, and that a number of lesser known glucose metabolic pathways are also upregulated. These are the pathways that regulate the metabolism of sugar as it enters the cell. The reason we looked at heart cells is heart disease is tightly linked to diabetes, and diabetic individuals frequently develop heart disease, and heart-associated complications are also, if I can say, worse off when they have a cardiac event like a heart attack than someone who is not a diabetic. So that's why we looked at it in heart cells, and we also managed mainly to prove the concept that these are the pathways and the reactive molecules that are upregulated and does play a role in reducing the sugar uptake of these cells. We utilized a number of pharmaceutical blocking agents to block these pathways, and we saw that we could reverse the insulin-resistant placed upon these cells in the high sugar condition. Our data points toward the involvement of these pathways, and it may shed more light to develop new targets for future interventions, specifically these pathways that I identified in my study.
And how critical is it at the moment to find new affordable preventative treatment options for diabetes?
It is of utmost importance. It is predicted that diabetes will definitely rank within the top 3, diabetes and metabolic disease, that is, non-communicable diseases that contributes to mortality and a loss of income because these individuals develop the disease and its complications. So it is of utmost importance to try and curb the progression of diabetes, and this is why in my experimental system we also looked at the acute effects, that's the short-term effects of high blood sugar as occurs in the phase before people become diabetic, so that we could target an earlier phase before you are fully blown diabetic to try and curb this and treat this, and to see if we could stop the progression of diabetes before this happens.
Talking about curbing the progression of diabetes, what about lifestyle interventions such as a healthy diet and regular exercise? Can they be regarded as part of a preventative strategy?
Definitely. Various studies show that lifestyle intervention does prevent the progression of metabolic diseases. It does help with the regulation of blood glucose levels on a molecular level as well. Healthy lifestyle and regular exercise could definitely be considered as an intervention, but also as a preventative measure.
Your research has revealed some of the things that are needed to halt the march of diabetes. But where to from here, Doctor?
In terms of my own research, there's definitely still a lot to be done, a lot to be uncovered, and a lot to be processed further. For my PhD, we focused on cell models, and we're starting to focus on animal models to see and to investigate in more detail and more specific methods to investigate these molecular mechanisms. So it would still take some time to actually arrive at specific intervention or medicinal compounds to try and curb the disease. But my data and also the data of various other studies working on this concept strongly points toward the involvement of various molecular events, and if we could focus on these molecular events, specifically also the ones that I've identified in my study, if we could figure out ways to limit the upregulation of these pathways in cases where glucose levels become elevated, that, I think, along with the current medicines out there, I think should aid in curbing, and of course, as I said just now with lifestyle interventions as well, should aid in curbing diabetes.